Ahoy Buccaneers and Buccarinas, my name is Captain Yugioh and welcome back to the channel again. I get to talk about some changes that have gone on in Hearthstone because I missed out on it like a couple of weeks. I know that's a big deal, but it's okay because everything's all right now. So, before anything else, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. It'll be great for me. Don't forget we watch Overwatch videos on Tuesdays, Hearthstone videos on Thursdays, and Yugioh videos every single Friday. So let's talk about how Hearthstone has been just going at a brisk pace this entire time. Like, the meta has been just like shifting constantly. It feels like every couple of weeks now is basically just an update. I mean, that's considering that the fastest updates that have occurred in the game occurred like literally the day after the expansion released. So, details. But now we've got a few more things kind of coming in. Demon Hunter still is a very powerful class, still is very strong, very aggressive, but we still got some other decks that have kind of managed to, make their way into it. I actually just took a look at the meta and was just like, holy cow, there's a Temple Warrior deck that just came out of nowhere, which is funny because I've actually played against that Temple Warrior deck and beaten it quite a few times, and I was just kind of like, I don't know what this deck is. What's the point of it? What's its purpose? What's it doing here? And then I looked into it and I'm like, oh, it's actually tier 1. Sorry. So, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the nerfs that happened within the last couple of weeks. It's just kind of a refresher thing for me, and it's a good thing to kind of catch up with people with all that sort of thing. So let's talk about those. First off, Kaelthas Sunstrider goes to 7 mana from 6 mana, which is totally fine. It lowers the number of combos that you can do with him, and people were already using, free spells to kind of match up, spell 1, spell 2, and then their third spell is free anyway, so it could get a little crazy out of hand, and turn 6 is a very... Wow, can you imagine turn 6 and you're dealing like half their health to them in a minute? So it's just kind of like, okay, you just take care of that. Not even need to worry about it. So having him nerfed up, and he was a free card anyway, so you don't get any dust value out of him. But it's still really nice that he's actually, not as prevalent these days, because it's like that. Now those kinds of combo-oriented decks just don't see a whole lot of play because 7 mana is just enough to be too much. Bad Luck Albatross still sees a lot of play, I know that much, but he went up from 3 mana to 4 mana, and I think that's fine. A 3 mana 4/3 is pretty strong, but a 4 mana 4/3 is, well, less strong, but it's still relevant because Bad Luck Albatross is still shuffling Albatrosses in your deck, and that's still annoying. As a person who plays Highlander Hunter and needs to kind of keep adjusting the deck, to work around these sort of things, I'm annoyed by the Albatross whenever it shows up, because then it's like, oh, well, now I have to deal with you and your birds. But, Highlander Hunter at least has the ability to sift out the beasts. Since the Albatrosses are beasts and he gets Scavenger's Ingenuity, there's the chance of actually, sifting through it a little bit, but, it's not exactly the greatest thing in the world. But, needless to say, I'm still glad that Bad Luck Albatross is at least 1 mana more, because that does give, a little extra leeway in that regard. And last but not least, we have the Frenzied Felwing that's going from a 4 mana 3/3 to a 4 mana 3/2, and that's mainly because you could cheat it out pretty easily as long as you dealt damage to the opponent, the opposing hero. And considering it could be a free 3/3, that was, like, really, really crazy. I mean, we've seen this sort of thing happen with, like, Happy Ghoul, where it's like, oh, did you heal something this turn? Free minion. You did something with this? Free minion. And it's always like a 3/3, but like Frenzied Felwing, something about Frenzied Felwing, I guess, was just too strong because I guess you were already being aggressive enough and hitting the face anyway, whereas something like the Happy Ghoul was just kind of like, oh, well, I just want you to heal something and then I'll come out into the field for free. So, needless to say, Frenzied Felwing getting a little bit of the nerf is probably fine for now, and we are in a very aggressive meta at this point in time. It's very hard for, like, a lot of, like, control decks to really get situated, but tempo decks have been kind of on the rise, so that's a thing. I'm not worried about Frenzied Felwing, and I'm really not that concerned about it existing or not, so good on him, I guess. Now, those weren't the only changes that came into the game. We also have changes to Demon Hunter, which continues to be a very powerful, very aggressive, very just potent class. So we've got Altruis the Outkast going from 3 mana to 4, and that's definitely a welcome change. I still have seen this card be completely ridiculous. I played a guy the other day that was just kind of like, he played like Altruis the Outkast and then played like 6, 7, 8 cards. Like he was just playing it like bam, 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 and it was just like from the left and he was playing it every time to like trigger Altruis, and I was just sitting there like, I had like a 6/6 or something like that, and like a couple of really big minions and a good chunk of health, and he was just like, I'm gonna play like 50 cards, and I was just like, how did you die? You killed my minions? You dealt a chunk of change to my health? what's up with that? So, needless to say, Altruis the Outkast, I do appreciate the nerf. He can still be very powerful in the right setup, and, you know, in a very combo-heavy, sort of thing, is very dangerous. So, keep an eye out for him, but know that he has been nerfed. Next, of course, there is the Battle Fiend, which is also a fairly powerful card that went down from a 1-mana 2/2 to a 1-mana 1/2. And that's pretty good because, like, at 1-mana 2/2, it was very, very strong, especially if you can attack on your first turn using something like Twin Slice. Then you basically started out with a 1-mana 3/2, and that could be, like, really, really strong going forward and really start applying that pressure into your opponent and everything. So it was a very strong card, and it continues to be fairly strong. I've actually been able to, like, get away with, like, attacking with a 5/2 Battle Fiend, but that was mainly because I was able to play the War Glaives of Azeroth. So, it's fine. It's still very strong, but it's also, like, still easy to take care of in the right setups and the like. So, as long as you address the Battle Fiend sooner rather than later, you're usually in a good spot most of the time. So, it's good that this change did come through anyway, though, because if you weren't able to address the Battle Fiend in some manner or other, it could just get crazy strong, and that was a little ridiculous. So, good change right there. And then next we have the Glade bound Adept, who went from a 5-mana 7/4, now he is a 5-mana 6/4, but I don't think this is really the change that really takes away from this card in the least. Most of the time you're playing the Glade bound Adept because you're trying to deal 4 damage with them, because you'll attack with your hero, and then you get to, you know, do a lot more aggression and that sort of thing. I guess it's fine that he loses the attack because he himself becomes less aggressive, but I don't think that's the main reason Glade bound Adept was being played in the first place. He's not the big reason that was happening. So, it's still very strong, still plays a very big part in Demon Hunter decks, but it's nice. You know, it's nice little ease on that sort of front, so can't argue with that. So, I'm fine. That's fine. I still think it should deserve, I think it still deserves, like, maybe a little bit of a nerf on the mana side. You know, maybe bump it up to 6 mana so it's not coming out so easily and the like, and then it probably will be fine. But that's details at that point. Okay, the next one's kind of weird because it's Sacrificial Pact that got changed, and the thing about Sacrificial Pact is that it's been fairly irrelevant from any sort of state of the game for a long time. I mean, it came up in a couple of different Warlock decks over the years, mostly as a means of, like, keeping your life total up, keeping things, you know, handy, keeping things safe. But now it's kind of like, okay, now it's being used as a Warlock tech card in a meta that has a lot of demons hunting around in it, and mainly demon hunters who ran demons, and it's just like, you know, basically it gave Warlocks a very easy means of taking care of stuff like Imprisoned and Taeon. You just kind of like, oh, it goes off and you suddenly have 10-6, well, I get free, you know, I get a free Destroy Your Kai, and I get 5 health out of that. Oh, Priestess of Fury's on the field, let me get rid of that for free. So Sacrificial Pact ended up playing a very big role in the metagame simply because Warlocks were able to utilize this unique tool to freely get rid of powerful demons, especially from those on Demon Hunter's side, because not many of the other classes are really running demons per se. Like, I don't think Mage is running that much. Hunter's definitely not running demons at all. Like, it's something that mainly was impactful for Demon Hunter, who ran demons. So they changed it to basically be like, instead of destroying any demon, you have to destroy a friendly demon, and now it just doesn't see any level of play whatsoever. So I'm glad it's back to normal. And the last card in Standard to get a change was actually the Libra of Justice, who actually got buffed from being 6 mana, now is at 5 mana, and that's a pretty welcome change. It was probably the weakest of the Libra package in general. Like, Libra of Wisdom could easily come out for free most of the time, and then Libra of Hope was just, well, it's Libra of Hope. But Libra of Justice, it didn't really feel that great, and you couldn't really cycle it back with Lady Liadrin. So, yeah, getting this, like, little change actually makes it a little more playable. And that's really nice, because then it's like, it's actually activating, you know, it's acting like an equality on all of your enemy minions, and then you're getting a 1/4 weapon on top of that, so you can start whacking at minions, and I think that's a fair change, and I think that's pretty good for this particular card. So it's a welcome change to the Libra package, and it's a very welcome change to Libra of Justice, so good on them for that. Okay, and the last 2 cards are not really important for Standard. It's mainly wild stuff. Blood Blue was being a bit of a troublemaker, so it's going from 2 mana to 4 mana, and Open the Waygate was just becoming really, really powerful and wild because of all these different things, so they're bumping up the conditions to fulfill its quest. But those are irrelevant because those aren't wild, and that's a whole other topic for another video. Get them out of here! I don't need to see them anymore. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, hopefully you guys like it, I hope to do more things with Hearthstone kind of bumping up now that I can play it again and stuff on my computer and record some super cool footage and the like. So, hopefully we'll not have anything like that Ashes of Outland opening ever again, because man, that video is not that great quality. Like, jeez, I don't like that video very much. If you want to watch it, you know, I do open some insane legendary, you know, I get some insane luck with the legendaries, but you can watch it if you want, but other than that, I hope to do more things with Hearthstone outside of all that. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, and until next time, I will see you around. Peace. Yahar!